The first US major of 2026 is officially in the books, and somehow, two things are true at once. This was one of the cleanest, most predictable brackets we've seen in years, and it featured one of the most impressive losers runs of all times. This was Afterburner 2026, and it might be the weirdest major we've had in a long time. Part of why Afterburner 2026 felt so strange is that there were actually a lot of reasons for chaos. It just never fully arrived. This event came right after the most recent UltRank drop, and for several players, this was a chance to prove something, not just to the rankings, but to themselves. Take Apollo Kage for example. After placing 64th on UltRank, Apollo Kage openly felt he could have been pushing top 50, and Afterburner was a big opportunity to start making that case early in the year. And while he ultimately finished 7th, that same motivation was felt throughout the entire bracket. Just outside of top 8, we saw a very stacked group of players placing 9th, including MK Big Boss, Geist, Free K-Flock, and Beastly. And Free K-Flock's run in particular stands out, because major level Zelda success is extremely rare. The last time we saw a Zelda performance this strong was YN at Mayasuma top 14.5 in Japan. So for Zelda to come that close to a US major top 8 again really highlights how unusual and quietly impressive this bracket actually was. Now, there is an extremely important caveat here. Two top seeds, the 5th and 6th seed, didn't actually play the event. Light and Lima both DQ'd. That alone removed a ton of volatility from the bracket, and it shows in the results. Starting us off at 7th is Cola, who quietly put together a very solid run. He started by beating Raven King in Winner's Top 64, but shortly after that he fell to Louis Money. From there, Cola fought through losers, taking wins over Andrik, Icon, and Geist, before eventually falling to Jackal, closing out a respectable top 8 finish. Also finishing at 7th is Apollo Kage, with strong wins over Yeast and a close Game 5 victory versus Big Boss before falling to another Robin Zomba. Apollo Kage would pick up one more win off of Free K-Flock before Louis Money would end his run, but this was still a meaningful run for someone looking to prove he belongs higher in the rankings. In 5th place, we have Jackal, who navigated the early bracket very cleanly. He beat Hyper Kirby in Winner's Top 64 before beating Wolfie, a Sonic player ranked number 2 in Indiana, to then be pushed into losers by Carmelo, who went on to win the tournament. He would then pick up small upsets over Big Boss, extend his set count versus Cola to 2-0, then fall to his bracket demon in Zombo for a strong 5th place finish. Joining him at 5th is Mia. Mia picked up wins over Twitchy, Icon, and Louis Money before getting swept by Peebnut in a clean 3-0. Louis Money would then take victory in the run back, ending the top seeds tournament at 5th. And while these losses don't erase Mia's dominance, they are surprising for someone who could realistically be ranked the number 1 globally for 2025, and they may be an early sign that the gap at the top is starting to close. At 4th, Zomba showed once again why he's a fixture in late brackets. He would win quick 3-0s versus Serdank and Atata, and then won a set versus Apollo Kage before being sent into losers by Carmelo in a tight Game 5 set. He would then pick up one last victory over Jackal before being eliminated by Louis Money, a clean run only stopped by the finalists. In 3rd place, Peebnut put together one of the strongest runs of the weekend. He picked up strong wins over Beastly, Geist, and would knock Mia into losers bracket with a 3-0 knockout. He then got sent to losers by Carmelo, where he would then lose to Louis Money in a Game 5 set. An amazing performance that almost broke him into grand finals. Our 2nd place finisher of Afterburner was Louis Money, who beat Anthony Isn't Cool and picked up a Game 5 victory over Cola before getting sent to losers by Mia. He then went on to win 6 consecutive sets in losers, taking wins over Beastly, Apollo Kage, Mia, Zomba, Peebnut, and Carmelo, with only sets versus Peebnut and Carmelo going to a decisive Game 5. He would then lose the 2nd set versus Carmelo. This was certainly one of the defining runs of the event. Our Afterburner 2026 champion is Carmelo. The Japanese Enderman player had a dominant run, beating Rydra, Free K-Flock, Jackal, Zomba, and Peebnut, and losing one set versus Louis Money in a close Game 5 before winning the run back in a swift 3-0 fashion. Here's the thing. This top 8 is almost exactly what the seeding predicted. No surprise invaders, no deep dark horse run, just the best players playing like the best players. And when you compare projected seeding to final placements, the story stays the same. Carmelo wins as the 3rd seed, Louis Money slightly overperforms, Peebnut and Zomba land near where you'd expect. Even the players who underperformed didn't do so dramatically. This wasn't a collapse, it was just a stable bracket. So surely there were a ton of early upsets here, right? Not really. To explain why, we need to talk about SPR for a second. SPR stands for Seed Performance Rating. Basically, how much worse or better a player performed compared to where they were seeded. A higher SPR means a bigger upset. And at Afterburner, there were only a handful of upsets with an SPR of 4 or higher, and most of them didn't even meaningfully affect the late bracket. There were only 2 players who would win a set with an upset factor 4 outside of the top 8. Zelda and Daisy player Finral would start off the event with a slight upset over Snake Main Collateral in a Game 5 set, then immediately be rewarded with fighting Cola, sending him into the loser's bracket quite early. He would then upset Sora Main Cornball, beat Falco Main Legacy 06, Mii Brawler Main Avery, who was top 5 in Georgia, and TM4 in 3 consecutive Game 5 sets before losing to Anthony Isn't Cool, placing an impressive 33rd as Seed 136. Additionally, It's Pronounced Ashton, a Duck Hunt main, takes a win over Worry, a Diddy Kong player ranked 5th in Kentucky, for the only other upset factor 4 outside of the top 8. The biggest headlines were Louis Money over Mia and Louis Money over Zamba, both strong wins, but not exactly unheard of in 2026. There was no unranked player tearing through top 20 seeds, only a single miracle top 64 run. Just solid, expected smash. And honestly, that's what makes Afterburner 2026 interesting. This wasn't a chaos major, it was a baseline major. It told us where the top of the meta currently stands, who's consistent, and who you can expect to see deep in majors if nothing goes wrong. As the first US major of the year, Afterburner sets the tone. If future events bring more volatility, we'll notice immediately, and if they don't, then maybe 2026 is shaping up to be a year where consistency wins. So what do you think? Was Afterburner boring or refreshingly clean? And do you think the next major will bring the chaos everyone expected here? Let me know in the comments, and if you want more Smash Major recaps throughout 2026, make sure to subscribe.